Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Confabulation. I'm Beverly, and I am with our sister's house, and we are sponsoring Confabulation. Our sister's house is a domestic violence advocacy organization here in Tacoma. So if you or anyone that you know is experiencing any form of abuse, please contact us at 253-383-4275 or visit us at our website at oursistershouse.com. Today on Confabulation, our guest speaker is Miss DeVandra Wheeler. She
Hi.
was born and raised in Tennessee, and she is the author of the new and latest book, Empowering Children to Speak Up About Sexual Abuse. So I'm going to ask Devandra to tell us just a little bit about who you are.
Okay, so thank you for having me first and foremost. Very happy to be here. My name is DeVandra, grew up in Tennessee. I moved to Illinois when I was 11, and then the military brought me to Washington in 2012. I am the author of a new book called Nova Be Bold. It is a children's book based around sexual abuse, and I want to use that book to empower young kids who have or are currently experiencing of sexual assault, and just to give them the courage to speak up and also give them resources to seek if they are experiencing that. Um, I served in the military for 7 years, and during that time, I started going to school. And in my last year at UW, I started interning at the Family Justice Center. So backtrack a little bit. My degree is in social work. So my last year interning, I worked at the Family Justice Center. I wanted to work with domestic violence specifically because I experienced that as well growing up. So um, working at the Family Justice Center was kind of like just a full circle thing for me. And yeah, that's basically it.
We are so happy to have you on our show today. I just have a few questions for you. So, if you guys have been listening, you guys know that the Family Justice Center is another partner with Our Sister's House, and they do the same lines of work. So, can you tell me a little bit more about the work that you did at the Family Justice Center, Miss Wheeler?
So some of the work I used to do, I would do phone calls to victims of domestic violence off the police reports that we would get into the office, just to call and reach out, make sure that they're safe, and to see if they wanted to utilize any of the resources that the FJC had to offer. I would assist um, victims or survivors who would come into the office to file protection orders. I will also accompany them to their court dates. I'll stand with them and advocate for them during court. I also helped make like a resource manual for the agency. And that was pretty much my day to day at the agency, just serving my community and helping survivors of domestic violence.
I love that. So, did any of the work at the Family Justice Center shape how you felt about survivors? Like, did it alter anything, or did it give you more insight about, what it is to be a victim of domestic violence and go through that?
I say it most definitely did. Like I mentioned earlier, like working or interning at the FJC was like a full circle moment for me. I myself went through domestic violence with an ex-husband of mine, and I remember when I was in those shoes, I actually went to the YWCA to get domestic violence assistance, and it was that moment that I spoke with that social worker that kind of re-sparked that fire in me to become a social worker and to help people in that same situation. And so fast forward to when I had the opportunity to work with FJC and do the same things that some of the advocates at YWCA did for me is like standing with me in court. Like during that moment, like I was so nervous and scared. Like just her standing like in between, like brought so much calmness and just peace over me. So for me to be able to do that for other survivors, it just brought everything full circle. Like wow, look how far that I've come. That now I'm in a position to help plant seeds of healing and to help survivors get through this very tough time in their lives. So it definitely made me look at survivors in a more positive light, I say. Um, Definitely stronger. Like I figured, like I knew I was strong, but just to see other people go through it, it's like, man, like, girl, you got this. Or boy, you got this. Like you can get through it. You know, I did it. We're here. Come on over to the winning side. Yeah.
So, DeVandra, listening to you, you just said, "I'm a strong woman." So, but through let's deal with the adult abuse, because I think that I heard you say that you endured abuse also as a young child. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right. So let me isolate the adult first. You said I'm a strong woman. So at what point did you feel empowered? What point did you feel I am strong and I can get through this and I can talk about this?
Um, I'd say the point where I felt like I could get to the point of talking about it and empowering, it came after like 2 years of therapy, honestly. Just having to learn how to deal with some of the emotions I was feeling and to cope in healthier ways and to express how I'm feeling in a more healthier way. So once I started implying what I was learning in therapy to my life, um, the healing began. And now I'm able to talk other people through it like, hey, this is some of the decisions that I did, or these are some of the decisions I've made. Some of them weren't right. And I would be
Mhm.
honest about that too. Like, look, I did it the wrong way, and this is how this is how it ended up. So don't go this way. Let's shift gears and go the other way. You know.
Right.
So it just that, and also going to church too, and just solidifying my faith. And yeah, I once those two things together for me, it definitely helped me heal properly. So,
Okay. So you know what? You just brought up another question, and it's probably another segment. But when you said going to church helped you heal, because the church doesn't readily talk about domestic violence.
mhm.
So how did you, it being in that space, how did you balance that out? How did you did you feel like you were walking alone, or was the church actually with you on that healing journey?
No, not at all. They were definitely with me. I know my pastor and my first lady, they were always like just on me, like, hey, how you doing? What do you need, sis? I got you. Like just or inviting me over to their house just to like, just spend quality time. Like they've always, been in my corner. And that
Nice.
definitely helped because I know for me, especially like with me, I don't have any family out here. So
Hmm.
I'm just used to being by myself and alone. And it's easy for me to just be like, I got it. Like, I'm not even about to bother anybody else or whatever. I'm like, I'm already here by myself, but they don't let me do that. So they've definitely been a huge help as far as me healing and getting better.
Wonderful. So before I look, now I'm hogging. You gave me the floor, Jean A, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so good. A beautiful Black woman speaking up, speaking out, and empowering others. So, what I want to know is, okay, through this healing process and your journey, now are you able to speak to that demographic, or to the church? Are you able to talk to them and help others in the church? Because I want to get into the piece now with the young children.
Hmm.
They don't speak up because they don't know how. And your book is a light, a beacon. It will open up many doors, I think, for many young people and children. So, are you actively um, advocating for young people and children now, or are you at the beginning of the road now, introducing empowerment to children, to how to speak up and how to be confident in speaking up?
So I feel like officially I'm at the beginning stages of advocating, but I feel like I've been doing this unofficially for a while now.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like that people will come up to me and just, I feel like I'm a very easy person to talk to. And a lot of people just feel comfortable telling me their business. And not, but with me though, I'm always a listening ear. And if you want a solution, I can offer that if I have one. So I
Mhm.
feel like I've been doing that type of advocating unofficially with adults and kids, um, and getting them to the resources and stuff that they need. But now that I have this book coming out, um, I want to be on a more official level, like doing more speaking engagements and speaking on a bigger scale versus
Yes.
just individual people. So.
So, has the courage to speak up changed the trajectory of your walk here now?
Has the courage changed my trajectory?
Yeah,
I,
the courage to speak up. You have a lot of people don't have the courage. You have the courage, the motivation to help others. So that has I feel like that has had to change the trajectory. It has had
yeah,
to, yeah.
yeah, I believe so because I've reached a point where I can't keep quiet no more. Like
Okay.
I have to get this out. Like I have to speak up. Like I felt like when I was a child going through that, like I didn't have anybody to look to. I didn't have any resources available to me. And I feel like if I did, I wouldn't have went through it for as long as I did.
Hmm.
So, like I said, I can't keep quiet about it anymore. I have to speak out because there are people who are currently going through this, even some adults who are still struggling with what happened to them as a child. Like the healing has to begin now. Like we have to get out of that. So I can't keep quiet no more. I realize that I have to be vulnerable. But with my vulnerability comes hope. It comes clarity for other people. It comes peace, healing, all of that good stuff. So yes, I definitely feel like me having the courage to speak out changed the trajectory.
Yeah. Well, my next question would be, why is it important for children to have that adult figure in their life that they can confide in and talk to things that they may not be comfortable with telling their parents?
I feel like we all need somebody that at least one person that we can trust, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
same thing with kids. Like I feel like as an adult we kind of dismiss kids and their feelings and what they go through as trivial. But in reality, like their problems are just as big as ours. Just because we don't look at it on a bigger scale, that doesn't we shouldn't like diminish what these kids are saying or what they're going through. And I feel like, as adults, it's easy for us to like, oh, that's nothing. Your friend ain't talking to you, so what? Like, well, this is like the worst thing that this child has ever experienced so far in life. So we can't dismiss that. So I feel like um as adults, we have to be more open to hearing these kids out and building that trust with them, because like you never know what these kids are really going through. That's just with anybody. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I can relate to that, but I am the adult in this situation, which is like always so crazy to me because my little cousin, she's 17 and I'm 25, and I never understood why she would want to like talk to me, like I'm not um I don't want to say I'm not an adult, but I didn't feel like I had all the knowledge to give to her. But the one thing about me is that I make her comfortable enough so that she can talk to me about certain things, and she tells me certain things, and I honestly I like that's really sacred to me. Like I wouldn't do anything to like violate that trust that me and her have, and I'm happy that she gets to talk to me about, certain stuff, and I can give her the knowledge that I have, even though, I'm not as out like as old as, her mom or other older adult women in her life. So I just feel honored that she finds that in me to confide in me. Another question I want to ask you, which is in reference to the Black community, do you think that phrase that we've heard growing up at least once in our lives, what happens in this house stays in this house, do you think that that is detrimental to a child's upbringing?
It definitely can be. I understand the saying, what happens in this house stays in this house, but we got to get out of that, because a lot of stuff like child abuse and sexual child abuse, it gets swept under the rug. And it gets looked at like, oh, that's just Uncle Johnny. That's just what he do. You know what I'm saying? Like, he a little touched or whatever. Like stuff like that doesn't need to get swept up under the rug. Like, no, Uncle Johnny is a perv. Like, we need to do something about that. Like, no, I'm about to go. I need to tell somebody that he's doing these things to me, or he's doing these things to my cousin. I can't just keep it in the family or just keep it in the house, because that's how stuff like that keeps going on, and more people get hurt by not speaking up. So yeah, I do believe that phrase is detrimental, because not everything is supposed to be swept under the rug. Not everything is supposed to stay in the house, especially when it comes to abuse. It needs to be something needs to be said. Something needs to be done. So
I think that that phrase too, what happens in this house stays in this house. Um, I guess I kind of feel like the adult that knows or knew something was going on, that was a protection default to the perpetrator for the perpetrator. Because we know today, if that is, um, if someone is told that, well, we're mandated reporters. So if someone tells me that, I can't say what goes, or if I know that something like that is happening within my family or household or whatever, I am mandated to report that. And there are definitely consequences to the actions of the perpetrator. So I think back then, in the era that I grew up in, when that was said, they knew it was wrong, but like you said, they were dismissive, didn't listen to the child, and it was a cover up, a protection mechanism. But there is no what is the word? There is my thought statute of limitation.
mm,
I know a young lady that went through that, and it happened in her church when she was 13. She was a grown woman when she told her father, and they reported it, and he did some time, and had to register as a sex offender. So I guess my thought is, yeah, tell it.
I
So
completely
absolutely,
agree.
I definitely agree with that. Say
yeah,
something about it. It don't
yeah,
matter how long ago it was. Say something about it.
right. And who it was.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think another thing that strikes me with that is when it comes to family, some people don't know how to draw those lines, because we all have those instincts in the Black community, I feel like, to protect everybody, even if that means hurting the kids. I've
Right.
seen it so much, and I
Hmm.
think that is something. I think that our generation, like 90s babies, growing up in these families and like watching the world evolve and just being open about, going to therapy and telling people about what's going on in your life and wanting to talk to someone, you know, um, I think is important for us. And I think that it's a step in a different direction for us. But I think that we are at the point where we are breaking some of those generational curses
Hmm.
and some of those things that run in our community that are so much alike, you know.
I agree totally.
Absolutely.
So, Devandra, why don't you tell us a little bit about your book and where we can obtain that book and when it'll be out and all the good stuff? We're ready.
All right. Okay. So the name of my book is Nova Be Bold. You can follow me on Instagram at Nova Be Bold and Facebook at Nova Be Bold. My website link is posted on those social medias as well. The website is called novabebold.com, and that's where you can go and order the book. Um, I will be releasing the release date really soon. So from what I hear, it's just coming off the print. So I will be having a date soon. Just follow those social media pages to stay connected. Um, and yeah. So basically, let me just get into the book, I guess. The book is about child sexual abuse. The book is based off of my own experiences growing up. And it just pretty much is like coming from like a journaling aspect. Just talking about Nova's feelings during this trying time and how she found her boldness to speak up to a trusted adult and to get the help that she needed. And the book comes with study guide questions the purpose of that is for the child and the caregiver, parent, whoever, to talk about the book once they read it and answer the questions. Um, about the book and also answer questions pertaining to their own situation if they are going through that, and just to create a safe space for parents and the parent and child to talk about sexual abuse. It also comes with resources at the end of the book. So if family is experiencing that, there's a few national resources at the back for them to contact. And yeah, I'm just really excited for this book. I am envisioning these kids being empowered all over the world, and even some adults too who haven't had the help yet or haven't had the chance to deal with it yet. Hopefully, this plants the seed for them to deal with it to get the help that they need.
So your book speaks to both children and adults who have dealt with sexual abuse.
So mainly children, but I'm envisioning, like, especially on the study guide part, when the parents are supposed to go through the questions with the child. I'm imagining that some of those questions spark um, some questions within themselves, like, I experienced this when I was growing up, but I never really dealt with it. How can I go about dealing with it? Like, I'm talking to my child about this, but I'm not even healed from my own trauma. So what do I need to do to begin that healing so I can help my child if they're going through it or prevent it? So
I like that. This concept, it
Mhm.
was definitely very well thought out. And I cannot wait to tune in and support you in any way possible. I just have one more question here for you before we wrap up. Do you have any future plans that you'd like to share with us?
future plans. As far as like the book, I want to begin like doing like book tours, speaking engagements. I want to get into like the middle schools, and speaking there. Possibly come up with like a curriculum for my book, um, for that specific age group. Um, Other than that, I got a birthday coming up, so I'm ready. I'm excited about that. It's my 30th, so I feel like with this book coming out, we're gonna bring in 30 with a bang. So
Yay. Happy early birthday. We love Geminis.
Oh no, Cancer, Cancer.
Oh, we love cancers as well.
Yeah, my birthday's next month, so yep.
Well, Devandra, thank you so much. This was exciting. This is exciting, and it will be more exciting watching you on your journey. So, before we close, I want to empower you to empower youth that will listen to this segment with some encouraging words and some clarity and some boldness. Give them a word before we leave.
Okay, let's see. What do I want to give the kids? Um, I guess I could leave the youth with just don't be afraid to. First of all, don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid of your truth. Don't be afraid of who you are. Um, don't let people get into your head about doing the wrong things or um, putting fear in your heart. Be bold about it. Can you guys see me still?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know what happened to my screen. Everything just went black. But just to continue, don't be afraid to stand in who you are. Don't be afraid to speak out. If you're feeling a certain type of way, communicate that effectively and just be bold and be confident in yourself. That's it.
Thank you so much for confabbing with us on Confabulation. And again, Miss Devandra Wheeler, upcoming author of the book Nova Be Bold.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen out for the release of her book. Thank you again for joining us on Confabulation. Again, our sister's house is a DV advocate organization. We're here in Tacoma, and our number is 253-383-4275. Contact us if you or someone you know is experiencing any form of domestic violence or you need resources. We are here for you. And I would encourage you to visit our website at oursistershouse.com. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend. Peace.